Welcome to the Brand Clarity Podcast, hosted by Visions to Images and Susie Liberator. The Brand Clarity Podcast highlights several different topics, including entrepreneurship, franchises, and digital marketing trends. Visions to Images helps corporations and franchises with their branding, website, paid advertising, and digital marketing. Hello, everybody. Today on the podcast, I have Sally Facinelli, and she is the CEO of Salty Dawg, pet salon and bakery. Sounds exciting. Love the concept. Happy to have you on, Sally. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in the franchise industry.
Wow. So franchising is one of those industries where people tend to fall into it by mistake or just, not really a mistake, but it just kind of happens.
Right.
For me, it's too special. I had to fall into it twice. So the first time I was working in a company in the United States that was not a franchise, but we had master locations that we opened up in England, France, and Germany. And I was sent over to England to live there for a year to help open those locations. I didn't even know what franchising was at the time. I had no idea, but I quickly found out. And then when I came back to the United States, because I did not want to stay in England forever, as much as I enjoyed my time there, I fell into it again. I was just out there looking for a job that looked interesting, and I came across a company called Aussie Petmobile. And I was quite literally their number 2 employee, if you count the receptionist, of course, right underneath the founder and his wife. And it was just the most exciting experience to grow with a brand. They had 13 locations when I started, and when I left, we had 500 in 5 countries.
That's exciting. And then you started your own franchise company, and it's emerging and new. So why did you decide to do that?
So fun fact, I'm not the original founder of the company. I guess you can call me founder adjacent.
Okay.
The founder was a man named John Kansky, who passed away almost a year ago now. And he had his partners, Win Clayball from Paul Mitchell The Schools, and another partner, Gary Ratner from My Salon Suites and the Hair Cuttery and a few other brands. So we have a lot of power behind us. And the origination for Salty Dawg was John Kansky and his wife, who are both in the hair industry with Paul Mitchell The Schools, had a dog they took in. The dog came back took in to get groomed. The dog came back super stressed out. It was nervous and shaking. Not to mention that it also had a really bad haircut. And they're like, we just paid all this money. What is happening? Why is my dog stressed out and a bad haircut to boot? So that kind of started the process of Salty Dawg. And they partnered up with Win and Gary to start the brand and, get the proof of concept going and those sorts of things. And what they did is they took the background with Paul Mitchell The Schools and the people that go to Paul Mitchell Schools to learn how to work with human hair, use their skills and translate that into dog grooming, because they've already got the hard skills of the tools and the different hair textures. That's how it was born.
That's so interesting. I mean, it's great that you have Paul Mitchell and so many legs behind the brand. The story is really good. What are you doing to grow the brand currently?
So post John's passing, we actually merged with Loyalty Brands, which is a portfolio that owns 8 other brands. And that is one of the ways we'll be growing is through partnerships with existing franchisees underneath that umbrella. That's one way. Our next biggest move is going to multi-unit conference at the end of March. And the reason we're doing that, one is we have a ton of connections there.
Yeah.
2 of my franchisees is a big multi-unit franchisee with a ton of connections. He's also on the board. But it's just, that is the people that are really interested in working with a Salty Dawg, owning a Salty Dawg, come from that space. They come from, hair, whether it's a great clips, a sport clips, something like that. And the business model is very much the same. So those are our type of franchisees.
What kind of, tell me more about the brand. What makes you guys unique? I love that you guys have the pet salon. Tell me more about the bakery too, because the bakery sounds great. I love bakeries. I'm sure my dog does too.
Yeah, it's super fun. I wish I had some images to show you. So a little bit about Salty Dawg and what's different about all the other brands is when you walk into a Salty Dawg, on the right-hand side, you're going to see all glass and dogs being groomed. And the reason behind that is most places, the dog goes in the back room. They're taken away from the pet parent. You don't know what's happening with your dog for a couple of hours. Come back, the dog's probably stressed out or nervous or whatever. we wanted to stop that. We wanted to give the dog a spa-like experience and help the pet parent not be stressed out about their baby and what's happening
Sure.
for the 2 to 4 hours that it's gone. So when you walk in on the right-hand side, you see all the pets being groomed. The pet parent can watch, can be comfortable. The dog's not, stressed out or anything. And then on the left-hand side, as the pet parent is walking into the store to drop off their dog, there's all these little cute, fun retail and bakery things. So we've got retail items that are different, like little pet booties, for their little paws to not get, on the hot road and those sorts of things or the snow. And then the bakery side, oh, that's so fun. So the franchisees don't bake anything, but we've got all kinds of things like cookies and cakes and cupcakes and donuts, even all kinds of fun stuff, holiday things, birthday cakes and birthday cookies.
Sounds like a great place for dogs, animals, everything, right?
Yeah, it's super fun.
Sounds good. I know my dog probably hasn't been to, well, I don't know if she's been to a groomer in a while. I don't know that she has, but she probably should go because she needs to be, although she's older now too. So I feel like when they're older, like I feel like my dog kind of has some anxiety because even when we go like to the vet, I don't think she can really see or hear it too well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where she has to be by me. So, but it'd be interesting to take her to one. Where do you have locations at currently?
So we have our locations are in Texas and Georgia right now. We're expanding nationwide. But to talk about your dog and elderly dogs, we actually have something called a VIP room that we use for multiple reasons. One of which could be and has been used frequently for the elderly dogs that are a little bit more nervous.
Yeah.
Whether they can't see or hear, or even just being around other dogs or whatever, it makes them even more nervous. So we've got this VIP room in the salons where the dog can be in there by itself with a groomer only, no other dogs. Or it's a multi-purpose room where it could be used for like pet parties or pictures because it's got a green wall.
Fun.
Pictures and stuff.
That's amazing. That's really cool that you have both of those. I mean, I feel like people throw big parties for babies. Why not throw big parties for dogs, right? Like people
Why
probably do it, right? They do it all the time, I'm sure.
Mhm. We're starting a new trend.
Hey there, I want to interrupt this episode with a quick message. If you're listening to this podcast episode and want to learn about branding your franchise or small business, then go to brandingbridge.com. That's branding-bridge.com.
So one of the things that you really like to talk about is women in business and franchising. So tell me more about that.
Well, when I started franchising, it was, we're a long time ago, almost 30 years ago now. There was not a lot of women, certainly not in the world I was in either leadership or in technology. Because after franchising on the franchisor side, I went into technology for a long time in the franchise world, and there was just no women. And I was very fortunate to be taken under the wing of the good old boys club. I love all the guys, guys are amazing. No problems there. But I'd like to empower women because there's this special bond that happens when women support other women. And as a woman, I find that we are expected to be all things to everybody. Whether that's good or not, doesn't matter. It just is what it is. And nobody can understand what it's like to be a female, especially a female leader, like another female. And if we can support each other and help each other grow, and like I can go to my girlfriends, my other female leaders, and just ask them any question. And it's not a dumb question, a question that maybe I would be shy to ask somebody else, that hadn't either experienced it or experienced it from my perspective. So I like to support women and their growth.
I love that. And I feel like, I'm in the process of writing a book, which is a whole nother topic, but it's about women winning, etc. Right? Because I've gone through a lot of hardships, trauma, whatever you want to call it. And I basically came out and said, okay, I can sit here and do nothing or do something, and inspired and motivated myself. And now like I'm on a mission to like similar kind of like motivate more women to do more things. And you don't need a man. Men are good, don't get me wrong, but like you can take control of your future and you can do things. I mean, there's so much like stereotypes like, oh, men are engineers, men are this, right? Like break all of those habits. And it's like men are more dominated in franchising and women are coming up in that as well. So it's like, I want to inspire and motivate more people, but that's a whole nother topic in itself. But I love that you're doing that because it's so empowering and people, we need this. We need it.
We definitely need it. I love the fact that you're writing a book on that. I think that's really helpful for other women. I feel like I'm at a place now in my life where I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people in franchising. I can get the word out there. And if I can give back, even in just a little way,
Right.
and I can be that light for somebody else, maybe they'll make decisions and do things differently that they wouldn't have done already. So I'm like an open book. I try to be anyways. I mean,
I love
if
it.
anybody has a question or is shy or nervous or sad or like depressed, I mean, we all go through things. I've had a lot of hard things in life.
Yes.
So if we can support each other, I don't care what it is. I don't judge people.
That's amazing though. I think we need more of that. And a lot of times the women are closed out in that sense of, oh, I can't ask that. That's too dumb, or I'm too scared to tell that I failed, or this or that. And then as a woman in business, in entrepreneurship, franchising, etc., we have to look at it as like men, like they don't have it. I don't want to say as easy, like they don't have it easy, but they do, because we have emotions, we have hormones, we have mom stings, we have parenting, like we have all of this stuff on us that like one wrong word and we're like having a ball party, like we're having crying, we're screaming, we're yelling, and we don't even know why. Sometimes, like sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. I've gotten better at that over the years, but like that's just some of the stuff that women go through when they go through these leadership roles. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. And I think it affects us on a different level. I mean, I think of my franchisees, my employees, my customers, all of the stuff. They're like my babies. They're like, I'm like a mama bear. They're my little cubs. So
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So talking about culture, you are building a great culture. Tell me more about how you build that and what that entails.
the culture it leads to humans. I think that the human component is the most important component in life, period. But business, if you don't have that, I think your business is going to fail. You can have a great widget or whatever it is, and your business will fail if you don't have the human component down. So culture is very important. We come from Paul Mitchell the schools as our background with Win Claybaugh and the be nice culture. And that was one of the things that I was so excited about when they found me with Salty Dawg was the culture and the way they believe in inclusion and, women empowerment, and all the things, people empowerment. So I've really done my best to try to continue that and bring that culture into our schools, into our salons from the schools.
Yeah, culture is definitely important, and being on the same wavelength of people who you're working with closely is so important. I can't tell you how many times I've hired and worked with people and I'm like, they're just not a good fit. And we both know it. But it's like you have to go through and wait and be patient and evaluate and not always just jump to the conclusions of, yeah, I want to work with this person or bring them into your company. It's a lot.
And I think one of the things is I agree with that. And one of the things of being a leader is one, knowing those types of things and sitting back and watching. But two, also I don't sit on some pedestal and a rule from above or anything like that. I'm in the trenches right alongside of everybody, the franchisee, my employees. I want to see, I don't want to get to that place, when you do undercover boss and people are like, so far above and they don't know what's happening in their stores. I don't want to get to that place where I don't understand what's happening and I'm so far from removed from everybody that I'm making decisions that aren't good for either the employees or the franchisees.
Do you
Try to work alongside them.
Do you think that as you grow with locations, you'll still be able to have that?
I'm going to try. I don't think I'll do as good of a job because the bigger you are, you have more and more focuses.
Right.
But if I make a concerted effort to get out and be on the ground a certain percentage of my time, I think that will help continue that process.
Absolutely. I feel like that's a great factor. And a lot of people I see struggle with that as they continue to grow for sure. But I mean, I feel like there's a lot of ways around it. It's just about time management and working through a bunch of internal operations. But yeah, I feel like it's possible.
I mean, if you make it a priority as one of the ways you grow your business, then you will continue to do it. So it doesn't need to be as big of a focus, but a percentage of a priority. And you have to say, okay, I'm going to do this. That way I can keep my finger on the pulse.
Yeah, that makes sense. Very cool. So my last question is, if you could give anybody advice that's just starting off in franchising, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think this is pretty obvious advice to me, but then my brother always tells me that what's obvious to me is not obvious to everybody else. I
Sure.
think they must do their due diligence. And the due diligence isn't just talking to, let's say they're looking at a particular franchise. It's not just talking to those franchisees. Of course, that's important to do, the past franchisees, the current franchisees. But
Right.
it's also important to get involved in two spaces. One, the franchise space in itself, going to industry events, going to understand and learn and see what it's all about, drink the Kool-Aid or not, see if it's a fit for you. And then two, whatever in industry you're getting into. So for us, it's pets. Go to the pet events and see what that's all about. Are you in alignment? Are you in alignment with the brand culture, with the way it's going in the future? And then more importantly than even those two things, making sure they're all in alignment, but importantly, making sure that the type of brand you're getting involved with and the type of fit, as far as, do you need to be a salesperson, an operationally focused person? What type of person are you, and what type of person does the franchisor need? Are those in alignment? Because if you're not, if you need to do a lot of sales and outreach and that's just not your persona, that would be a terrible fit for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. Make sure it aligns with you, your personality visions. I mean, you can always hire team members, etc., but you really want to make sure that first and foremost, because this is going to be your baby day in and day out for so many years, right? And you got to make sure that you go into it loving it.
100%.
So if anybody wants to learn more about Salty Dawg, where can they learn more?
Well, they can go to our website, saltydawg.com with an A, not an O, or saltydawgpetsalon.com. They can reach me on LinkedIn, social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for listening in on today's Brand Clarity episode with Susie Liberatore. Two things. First and foremost, please, if you liked this episode, please subscribe and leave some positive reviews. Also, don't forget to sign up for Stop Sending Your Customers to the Competition and get my insider secrets to compelling branding that converts. You can find that at branding-bridge.com. It's a free workbook for you to check out right now, all of the branding techniques and strategies that I use for my paying clients.